Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, it's been, I don't know, a month or two later. We are putting a new head gasket on, and we're going to do this with removing as little as possible, so that way we can get this done as quickly as possible. Now, the head gasket that is on there is one of those graphite, I think that's what it's called. It's like a graphite gasket. It's not the multi-layer steel, the MLS. And so it's going to be stuck to the deck of the block and the head, which is going to suck. So we're going to have to scrape that off. And depending on whether it is warped, which it shouldn't be, because it's only like maybe gone up like halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way. It's never fully overheated, but it shouldn't be warped. But if it is, I'm just going to get one of those graphite gaskets to put back on, because those gaskets will smash. I don't know what the term I'm looking for. They will smash and fill the gap of the warp, unless it's like crazy warped, which it shouldn't be. But we're gonna have to remove some of this stuff right here. The exhaust manifold, obviously. The intake manifold I'm taking off with the head. That way I don't have to replace the intake manifold gasket. We're gonna remove the distributor, and I mean, hopefully it's gonna be pretty easy. And I'm going to mark the timing belt with the timing pulley. That way we can just line it back up and not have to deal with the timing. Hopefully it all works as to plan, and I don't have to take more stuff apart than I really need to. But this needs to be fixed, because I'm now adding like water to my radiator like 3 times a day, whereas I was only doing it once a day, and it's just become a pain, and it needs to be done. So let's get it going. Alright, like I said, we're going to remove the distributor, so that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. Looks like our valve cover gasket has held up. Let me get a baggie. Remove the little air duct thing. There's been no water getting into the oil, so it's just water getting into the combustion chamber, into the cylinder, which is a good thing, I guess, because the oil is not getting diluted. I need to get a 12. Guess I should probably take the battery out. Let's finish getting this distributor. Need to disconnect the wiring. Need a flathead screwdriver. Alright, we got that disconnected. Let's finish getting the bolts on the distributor. Alright, distributor is removed. Let's see if we can get this shield off. That surprisingly came off easier than I thought it would. There's still 2 bolts at the bottom though. I wish I had ratcheting wrenches. Alright, well I guess we're gonna have to bust the knuckles up. Alright, there's one. And there we go. Heat shield removed. We gotta remove this thing though. The cable for it's the throttle cable. There are, of course, your bolts here, and then there's a bolt down there that bolts to the block, and then underneath, like this section right here, there is a tab that bolts to the back of the block that goes to the flange on the exhaust manifold, or not a flange, but there's a little finger that comes off, and there's two bolts that go into it. So I'm gonna have to get up underneath there and remove that. And that should be loose where I can just pull the exhaust manifold forward and not have to actually remove it completely, hopefully. That is the plan, Stan. Alright, all those should be loose. My back is killing me already. Alright, the bolt that goes from the exhaust manifold into the block is a 14 millimeter. I think I need my pipe to put on the end of the ratchet to give me leverage. And it worked. It just fell off of the bolt once it popped. Man, I hate this ratchet, but I can't find any of my other good ones. I don't know why. Alright, there we are. We got that bolt off. She's a little greasy. Now we're going to have to climb underneath. Alright, I'm not sure what size I need, so I'm grabbing the 12 and the 14. Hopefully that does it. And we got our cardboard. Let's slide up under here. And here's that bracket right here. And there's two bolts that go to the back of the block. Oh, let me flip you around. And right there. Should be pretty easy. Not gonna really record it because it's hard to hold the phone while I'm under the car. Alright, so we got everything disconnected. We got the bracket that holds the exhaust, and this bracket that goes from the block to the intake manifold. It connects to the block and then up underneath on the bottom of the intake manifold. That bracket will not go back on. I will never put that bracket back on. It is a complete waste of effort, energy, materials. It's just not needed. So now the exhaust manifold should just slide right off, and it does. Perfect. Uh-oh. the O2 sensor. We need to get that off. Not disconnect it, but the bracket that holds the wire. Because the wire is being pulled. Alright, and there we go. And that's it. Now we need to work on, we need to get this bolt out from the power steering pump bracket, because it goes into the head. Sensors, the air tube thing, the wires for the injectors, the fuel line, and we're pretty close to being done. Taking it apart is the easiest part. Putting it back together, that's the pain. Alright, let's get this bolt off of the power steering pump bracket. Might need the wrench, because it's like right here where the AC line is. You know what? I know what we need. I'm just missing tools. That sucks. Alright, we got that bolt. Alright, we got the throttle cable, and I just disconnected this, that way we don't have to mess with any of this. Alright, so I've got this paint marker, and we're going to paint on here. We're going to do it in 3 spots. You know what, let's do 4 spots. Alright, now when I take the belt off, I'll know where to put it back on. Alright, so I'm curious on what cylinder is leaking, so I'm going to pull the plugs. Whoops, didn't mean to kick you. I need to go find my magnet. Alright, which one do you all think it is? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Well, number 1 is wet, but it's oil. Number 2 is wet, but again, it's oil. It should be really clean. Number 3, again, is wet, but it looks like oil. Number 4 is dry. I don't know. Either way, I think I need new spark plugs. I'm not sure which one it is. This one looks like it has a bunch of buildup on it. So does this one. But the rest of them look clean. And I think it was like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Can't tell. Not the outcome I thought. We will see once we pull the head off though, because one of them, or multiple, will be clean on the inside. Alright, well, let's quit fucking around. Let's get it done. Let's get this valve cover off. On the EF, the injector wires connect on both sides for some dumb reason. Well, I know when you do a multi-point or a dual point to multi-point injection swap, you just run all the wires to one side. You don't run them to both sides, or at least I don't. And I'm pretty sure the EGs and EKs, they all just run to this side. They don't run both sides. So it's going to make it a little bit more difficult because you have this all in the way. And I don't want to disconnect the AC line, but I can probably disconnect the power steering. Why can't I get these fucking things off? I don't understand. These grommets for the valve cover. So stupid. They're so tight. What a pain in the ass. I had to like unscrew it. Yeah, there was definitely water getting into the oil because that just looks gross. Alright, well, we're going to unbolt the head now. Actually, we need to get some stuff over here disconnected. We need to get the fuel line. The fuel line is a 22 millimeter, and I bought this wrench just for this. And it's the same on EGs and EKs, RD1s. Pretty sure it's the same across the board on all H, F, D, and B series. Alright, fuel line disconnected. We need to disconnect some sensors. We got the hoses for the radiator, and there's one on the loop on the intake manifold. Alright, so we have this disconnected, and then we've got the loop right here, and I think there's a hose underneath that goes to the idle air control valve that connects to the pipe that goes from the water pump to the thermostat housing. Alright, so we are at the point of removing the head bolts. We got the sensors disconnected, the water line. This right here was the water line to the idle air control valve. This didn't go so well, neither did that one, but we'll fix that once we get the head off. We might have to replace these lines, and this one should go back on, no problem. I'm just gonna have to cut it straight. I mean, I think that's everything. Over here, we put some more lines over here. We got the fuel line disconnected right here, and the brake booster vacuum line, and we had to remove the power steering pump line because we needed more room. to get this to slide over the intake manifold, which kind of sucks. I wish they would have put like a clip here, that way you can just disconnect that. I might have to, I don't know, disconnect this so I can pull this back more. Yeah, I think that will work. Yeah, I think that got it right there. And I think that's it as far as disconnecting everything from the head and the intake manifold. So we just need to get the head bolts. They're 14 millimeter. And when you tighten the head down, you can start from the center and go to the out. So we're going to start on the out and work our way into the center. Hopefully we don't warp the head. I mean, I think if it's warped, it's already warped, but I don't think it is. Let's get the head bolt off. Alright, let's pull all the bolts out. And we have new bolts. We will not be reusing these. I mean, look at that. That is awful. Guess the last thing, we need to knock off the timing belt. I don't know what that is. I found that down in the head. There we go. Does not want to come loose. Alright, we're going to take the head from here and stick it on here. Put it on the bucket right there. Alright, so it was definitely leaking into cylinder 1 just because that one is the cleanest. And we've got all this gunk gasket shit on there. We need to flip that over, but it's going to be a mess. Alright, well, there it is. This one being cylinder 1, this one 4. As you can see, it's a little cleaner than the rest of them. I mean, not much, but it is. There's a lot of carbon buildup on those valves. Honestly, I hate to put it back together like this. I mean, I'm going to clean the surface here and clean the surface here and check for flatness, but other than that, I'm not touching the valves, because this is just a temporary fix just to get it back on the road, because I need to find out what's wrong with this one, and this will be my daily once it's fixed. But right now I don't have a car, so I have to get this one back on the road. And the head gasket is a known problem. Other than that, this car runs good. This car has unknowns, and it could take a while to figure it out. So I'm going to go ahead and just replace the head gasket. And once this girl's back on the road, I'm gonna park this girl, and we're gonna pull the engine and put a dual cam ZC in her. So yep, that's the plan. But I'm gonna take a break.